First up, we have Turbo OutRun, which is an arcade machine that I encountered once and once only during a family holiday in Devon around the time it was released. I played it quite a bit during that trip though, and it left quite an impression on me, so when the C64 version was released by US Gold in 1990, I had to have it. Visually, the arcade version still retains some of the look of the first OutRun, with it running on a beefed up version of the Sega Superscaler hardware that powered the original game, along with other titles like Hang On, Afterburner and Space Harrier. As the name implies, the big gameplay change Sega made to this one was the boost button, which really does give you a huge jolt of speed as well as flames blasting from the back of your car. You can fire off the turbo whenever you want until you overheat, whereupon you need to wait until the meter ticks down before you can use it again. Also in this game you now have cops to contend with every so often, so it makes tactical sense to save a bit of boost to allow you to speed away from them whenever necessary. Your objective in Turbo OutRun is to make it all the way from New York over to the other side of the United States. The branching paths of the original game have been dropped, which is a bit of a shame. It's now just a linear path from A to B. After every 4 or so stages, there is a small break where the OutRun band plays and you get to choose an upgrade from better grip tyres, better boost or a better engine. In terms of the game itself, I think Probe Software have done an excellent job in recreating the arcade game on the C64. The sense of speed has been retained, the game handles well, and it includes all of the stages that were present in the coin-op, including the changing weather conditions and time of day. Drivin and Power Drift and the Maniacs of Noise have turned in an excellent SID soundtrack which is arguably better than the arcade music. It's really funky stuff and absolutely littered with sampled speech. The quieter samples on the C64C were always a bit of a bummer to me. Had I realised this was a thing back then, I would have pestered my mum for a used old C64 rather than a brand new one, but I didn't know it was a thing until I loaded Turbo OutRun that first evening. I still had many years of fun with my C64C regardless though. This quality conversion came at an incredibly high price though, ridiculously long and painful load times on tape. We're talking close to half an hour for each group of stages to load in. I endured this at the time due to the excitement of just being able to play the game on my own personal computer, but as the years rolled by, I played Turbo OutRun less and less due to this. Nowadays though, it's not even something that need be a factor because someone has made an easy flash version with almost instantaneous load times. Despite the painful loading, I do think the C64 Turbo OutRun deserves to have a first class award. Next up is Chase HQ from Taito, and the arcade version of this was a really exciting game, boasting a tremendous sense of speed, over-the-top speech and sound effects, and really good strong force feedback in the steering wheel. I have the good fortune to live in a seaside resort town, so when arcades were in their prime we had several locations such as the pier and a few other dedicated arcades on the seafront that I could just visit whenever I wanted to, and Chase HQ was a permanent fixture within one of them for quite a few years, so I would play it from time to time and really enjoy it, despite not being able to get very far past the initial stage. When the game was released for home systems, I never really felt the urge to buy a copy because the arcade game was so accessible to me already. I think I must have got wind of how bad the C64 version was at some point too, probably from Zap or Commodore formats, so I never sought it out. So this is actually my first time playing this port of this game, and it really is pretty terrible, isn't it? Looking at the graphics, I'm guessing that this was a Spectrum port that they attempted to jazz up a little bit, but it really hasn't worked. Not only is the game ugly to look at, it moves so slowly as well. You can just about tell that you're playing the same stage as the arcade version, but it's a pale imitation of that game. Not sure what went wrong here. I am inclined to give the designers the benefit of the doubt and assume that Ocean didn't give them very long to deliver a finished product, as that happened quite frequently back then. The C64 is definitely capable of much better, as turbocharged from System 3 and eventually Special Criminal Investigations from Ocean proved. If you want an actually good version of the original Chase HQ on an 8-bit computer, then you would be far better off with the Amstrad CPC version. Our third game in this collection is Drivin, which is an arcade game that I hate with a passion. When I was quite small, I was intrigued by the arcade version of Hard Drivin, which was brand new at the time, and a huge behemoth of a machine complete with wheel, gear stick and pedals. Curiosity got the better of me and I coughed up the asking price for 1 credit, which was a whole £1 at the time, and spent the next couple of minutes constantly crashing. I probably only had a couple of pounds to spend in there to begin with, so I would have felt cross and ripped off, and would never have gone near the game again. Even when the home versions appeared, my feelings of disgust towards this game were still present and I never wanted to play it. So the chances of me actually enjoying this Commodore 64 version were very slim, yet the terribleness of what I have witnessed today has far surpassed the very low expectations I had for it. This looks like another bad Spectrum port with its grainy, yellow, pea-stained monochrome graphics, jerky frame rate and a feeling like you're driving on ice at all times. I hated every second I spent with this game and it's by far the worst part of this compilation. That just leaves us with Power Drift, and in my opinion this is another all-time classic. I don't think I ever saw the arcade version in the wild, and getting it running on MAME over the years has proven difficult, including today, so my only experience playing with this are from the C64 and Amiga ports, and most recently the fantastic 3DS version from M2 that was included on the Sega 3D Classics collection. I wasn't actually able to play the arcade version in preparation for this video, but I did play some of the 3DS version, which is as close to the arcade original as you're ever likely to get. This footage is borrowed from elsewhere on YouTube. The arcade version of Power Drift featured some truly crazy roller coaster style tracks on wooden logs, and it moves along at an incredible pace. Should you ever get the opportunity to play either the arcade machine or the 3DS ports, I highly recommend it, as this stands shoulder to shoulder with Sega's best racing games. The C64 version of Power Drift is actually really good. It obviously suffers quite a bit in the visuals department, and the logs are now just replaced with a dull grey road, but the speed is retained and the game handles well. Things can look rather odd at times when the track goes up in the air, but I can overlook this because of how fun the game is to play. What music that is present in the game is pretty good, but it gets repetitive after a while, due to mainly being just one tune that loops over and over while you race. All in all though, this is another good game in this compilation and also worthy of a first class award. So overall, not an especially great hit rate for this compilation, with 2 really great games and 2 utter turds. You would have been better off just buying Turbo OutRun and Power Drift individually on budget, and skipping the other 2 entirely. That was often the way with compilations though. They would contain a mixture of good stuff to entice you to buy, and then filler to give the perception of value for money. There are now just 2 episodes left in this initial run of Compilation Station 64, and I have decided what they are going to be. The next one will be the Hollywood Pack from Ocean Software, which was another viewer request, and the final episode will be Taito Coin-Op Hits, another offering from Imagine along similar lines to the Konami Pack that I've already looked at. And I'm thinking about dedicating a second run of 6 episodes entirely to different Codemasters Quattro packs. Is that something that you would be interested in seeing? Let me know in the comments. That's all for now though, so I hope to see you for the next one, and in the meantime, take care.